Hello 30 Rockers, and welcome back to 30 Rock. Today is day 180, and unfortunately the bug that I told you about yesterday that's kind of been going through our family continues to go through our family, and everyone is not having the same result that I have had. And that result is that sure enough it lasted 10 to 12 hours. I mean, this morning by the time I woke up I felt great, had a full almost exhaustive day of meetings, of work, activity, and also found some time to go and swing the golf clubs as well. So a very good and full and productive day, and came home to some kids that just were not doing all that great. One of the things that it made me think about was, for so many people, I think when you try to start, one of the impetuses of trying to change your diet and your lifestyle for a lot of us is weight. And it's easy to not look at all the other good things that go on when you change your diet. And there are, and we've talked about the health and the wellness, and we saw day 39 where I reversed my diabetes, my triglycerides came way down, all those wonderful things. But those aren't things that you see on the scale. That's not things that you see in how your clothes fit you. And yet those things also allow our body's natural defenses to fight off sickness and illness and all these things so much better. And so it's interesting to just kind of have this, again, this little experiment going on in my own home. And while, I certainly, we're taking care of the kids and trying to get them back to, back to good health. And they're healthy kids by anybody's standard. They're very healthy kids. However, they still eat a fair amount of unhealthy food. Standard mac and cheese, chicken nuggets, those types of things. And as we as a family, try to move from, being everybody on a standard American diet to, mama went raw, papa went raw mostly, and now the kids eat a lot of raw, but not all the time, and the busier they get, the less raw they eat, to saying, okay, so what's the next step in this? How can we kind of bridge that gap? And part of it comes through, I think, buying locally and buying organic when available. And, for those of you that have seen Food Inc., one of the things that it did for Rebecca and I was we said, okay, so, if you're going to buy meat products, know the farmer, know where you're getting it from. You don't want to eat a hamburger patty that's made up from meat from 100 or 200 or 1,000 different cows. That's not what you want in your mouth, in your stomach, in your body. So, we're looking at making that transition with our family to say, okay, so if there are things that are still we're going to allow as a family, because our goal with our kids is to let them see the difference in what good choices mean. I've got a couple of kids that are like me, and they deal with lactose intolerance, and they'll have some dairy, and then they'll tell me how horrible they feel, and I tell them if it's a 3 or a 5-year-old, I think that's one thing, but this is basically almost a 12 and a 10-year-old, and I'll tell them, well, that's what happens when you eat dairy, when I eat dairy, is you feel miserable. And so, Papa's made a choice that I do very, very rarely do I have any dairy, and I really try to stay away from ice creams and milks and things like that. And if you're going to usually see me having dairy, no surprise, it's going to be on pizza. And even there, I've come so far from where I started. If I have pizza, it's very limited compared to what it used to be. But we let them feel the difference, see the difference, make the choice. And my son the other day, the kids were having ice cream sandwiches, and they offered him one. He said, I think I've had enough dairy for today. I don't want to do that. And so what did he pick? He picked a raw ice cream instead. Or maybe it was an ice instead, I don't remember. But the point is that given that information, kids know to make right choices. As adults, I think we've lived with some of what weighs us down, literally, for so much longer that it's hard to make the right choice all the time, because even though we know it's the right, we're so used to the other, or we're addicted to the other, or whatever the case may be. And so what we're trying to do with our kids and with our whole family is say, okay, if we're going to have a chicken nugget, let's make it from whole chicken breast, and you know, we can bake that instead, and we can do all those things, and let's know where it came from and make that a part of a good choice for them. And so I wanted to share that because, again, seeing this sickness kind of roam through the family and noting the difference, you know, and the person that hasn't been ill at all is Rebecca. So she's pregnant, dealing, you know, all the stuff that goes on with being pregnant, and she hasn't been hit with it at all. So be that as it may, or, you know, you can point to other things, but the fact of the matter is that, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, the people that have dealt with it the best have been Rebecca, then me, and then the youngest, Luke, and everyone else has been touched with it in some form or another and hanging on to it longer. So 4th of July weekend is coming up, and I hope you all have a happy and safe 4th of July, however you choose to celebrate it. I know some of you are Canadian, and maybe you still celebrate it with us right along. So, and one of the things, the question that I've got for you, if you want to answer, is, so, you know, it's 4th of July weekend. Everybody's grilling, there's deep frying, there's all this kind of stuff around. What are you going to do? Are you going to go ahead and decide that, hey, it's 4th of July weekend, I'm going to let my eating thoughts go to the wayside and do whatever I want to do? Or are you going to try to remain diligent, bring food with you, or just avoid those situations? So I'd be curious to know what you're doing for the 4th of July. We're going to be at the farmer's market on the 4th of July. So we are having a party at our place on the 5th, and having just a lot of friends over. And so we're going to be, well, there'll be standard food, there'll be lots of raw food, and there'll be swimming, and there'll be fun, and I think it should be a great event. So let me know what you're up to. Until tomorrow, keep making great choices out there, and rock on.